Hello everyone, and welcome to this short webinar on the topic Earned Value using Microsoft Project. My name is Johan Enfelt. I'm a senior consultant at Visual Planning in Stockholm. Visual planning, that is in English. I've been working with implementing tools for product portfolio and resource management over the past 12 years, and mostly focusing on the Microsoft suite of software. Today's agenda, if we quickly get into that, I'm going to nail down the scope for this webinar a little bit. We're going to see a little bit on earned value basics, a reality check where we ask us the questions, so why earn value and why not, and then we go into how you do to use earned value in Microsoft Project, and then we end up with a summary. So just to be clear here, this is a short webinar, so it's neither a training session for earned value nor a class in Microsoft Project. But in short, earned value is a proven methodology to track projects, and I guess you are all familiar with Microsoft Project. Earned value. Looking at it in more and more detail, it's actually a proven methodology to measure project performance and progress. The most common definition is to say that earned value is the value of useful work done at any given point in a project. And I've linked to a good Wikipedia page on earned value management here, so you can read more about it. We have some terminology that you will see in the demo and that you will need to make yourself familiar with in Microsoft Project. And to start with, we have a planned value, which in Microsoft Project and also in other places is called actually the budget cost of work scheduled. So you look at your plan, you look at the budget time phased, and you see, okay, what is the budget cost of where we are at now. Then you have the earned value, which is the budget cost of work performed. So it's basically the budget cost not of what you had planned up until now, but the budget cost of what you actually done up until now. And then you have the actual cost, which is what did you pay for it? What did you pay for what you have done so far? Built in the model is also a number of other items, and the most common ones I think is the schedule variance and the cost variance, but you will see some more when we get into the demo. Now, reality check. There are actually very few product managers that track their plans using earned value, and there's even fewer organizations that require earned value data from their product management offices. So why should you still look at it? Well, it is, as I said, an established and proven method to track projects and measure both performance and projects, and using that taking into account both the costs and the time. It's standardized, and in some cases it's actually a requirement. It's common in energy projects, and it's also common in different types of public finance projects, and I mentioned here United Nations finance projects. Why should you not do it? Well, it depends a bit on your organization. It may be too soon. If your major concern is to get proper planning up to speed, well, then earned value is not your first priority. It may also be too difficult to maintain it for where you're at the moment. But then look at the too soon item above. Once you have your plans up and running, once you get better at tracking, and then this may be interesting. But it also depends on what type of projects you run. Earned value is common in investment projects and less common in knowledge projects like the typical business development project and so on. You may look at the project culture in your organization, if this fits or not, and especially you need to look at the business model. Are you measuring your projects in terms of costs, or are there other topics that are more important? It may also be so that unless there is a requirement to run earned value, you should really consider, do we have any value of using it anyway? If not, then don't do it. And of course, many smaller projects are mostly into the Gantt charts, and if that's your major priority, then earned value is most likely not for you at the moment. So how do you do it? Let's get into the Microsoft project parts here, and there are a few requirements that you need to fulfill to be able to use earned value. And to start with, you need to have a plan with time-phased costs. You need to be able to assign work resources or cost resources to your tasks, and you need to be able to plan them correctly in time. This will give you a time-phased overview of the planned costs, and that's what we need. You also need to set a baseline, and the baseline is basically your budget for the project. Then you need to keep your project properly tracked and updated. So you need to get in there, track your tasks, what is completed, what is not. You need to reschedule the work so you know when it can be done. And those first three items is actually very many project managers do that. And in order to do earned value, you only need to add one thing, and that is to start using the status date, which we will look at in the demo shortly. If you have those four things in place, you can utilize the built-in fields, views, and reports of Microsoft projects. So let's switch over to a Microsoft project plan. Here we have a sample plan, which I use for this earned value example. Sorry. And it's nothing fancy, it's a very simple plan, only with work resources. You see it has, actually pretty much is already done. We are, this scenario is in the spring of this year, so we are done with most of the activities until sometime in April here. This plan has resources on it, all the resources. If we switch to the resource sheet, all the resources come with an hourly cost, so it's nothing more complicated than that. We go back to the Gantt chart. We can also switch to the tracking Gantt chart, where we can compare this schedule with what was the original plan. So here we have the baseline, where we see the gray bars, that's the original plan, and the colored bars is the current plan. In this view, we also see this is actually a built-in cost table, so we see the total cost for the tasks, and we see the baseline costs, and we see the variance of the task. So this is pretty much bread and butter project tracking for many people using Microsoft project. Now I go back to the Gantt chart, and what we see here is that the project manager has tracked the project up until the red line here in the schedule, and the red line here is what we call the status date, and this is a demo plan, so it's a little bit in advance here, but the status date for this is April 27. So this is the status date where until which we report the progress of the project, and this date is used by the product in calculating the earned value measures. So there we have it, we have the plan. Now let's see what we have, how Microsoft project can help us with earned value calculations. And we're going to get into the fields and the built-in tables first. So I go to the View tab, and now I have a very standard setup of Microsoft project, and in the standard setup those earned value tables, they are hidden in a dialog box. If you intend to use this, we advise you to create your own custom views so you can quickly access your earned value data from the bar on the left hand side of the screen. But today we're in the default setup. Go into tables, click more tables, and we select earned value, that one, apply. Now, what do we get here? Well, we get, now you recognize the numbers from the, or the abbreviations from my PowerPoint. We have the plan value, or the budget cost of work scheduled. We have the earn value, or the budget cost of work performed. And we have the actual cost, which is the actual cost of work performed. So we see here for this project, up until this status date, the plan value was 88,400. Well, bad news. The earned value is less than that, only 84,900. And the actual cost is significantly higher, 110,000. Now, in the columns on the right here, we have the schedule variance and we have the cost variance, which we will explain a little bit more in a minute. So this is all calculated fields, and you can see this at the product level as I'm showing this line 0 here, and you can see this task by task. So basically here you see a number of tasks, like task 3 and task 4. They have a plan value of 18,000 and an earned value of 18,000 and an actual cost of 18,000. So there were no variances there. They ran smoothly as planned and as baselined. On the other hand, we have some other tasks that were a lot more costly. In this case, we have the task 2 here, which had a plan value of 8,400. The earned value is 8,400, but the actual cost was a lot more. So we underestimated the cost of that task. So in this dialog box for tables, there are also a few more of them. Here we go. So if I go into earned value cost indicators and apply that, I will get more cost related fields, like the cost variance in percent, the cost performance index. We have, for instance, the this one is the estimate at completion, which is in many cases very interesting. This is the earned value calculation of what the project will actually cost before we're done. So now I go back to the entry view, tables entry here. Now it looks like we're used to again. Now, built into Microsoft Project, we also have reports, and this is what many managers and in some cases customers are eager to see. So in the cost section here, we actually have an earned value report, and this earned value report consists of a number of sections with different numbers. So we have the estimate at completion, we have the actual cost of work performed, and we have the budget cost of work performed. And those three may be the top three for a management guy. We have this earned value over time chart, which is sometimes referred to as the S chart. And here we have three lines. And I'm going to start with the gray one, which is the budget cost of work scheduled. And that is our plan value. This is what the cumulative cost over time would look like if the project ran according to baseline. Now, then we have the orange line, which is the budget cost of work performed. So this is this is actually the earned value, and we see here that in this case the earned value is a bit lower than the plan value, and this means that we are a bit behind schedule. And you can see, if we look at the horizontal line at 40,000 here, we see that we hit 40,000 according to plan here, but we are a couple of or roughly 2 or 3 weeks later to hit that value according to the performance of the project. So we see here that we are behind schedule. Now, then we have the blue line, which is the actual cost of work performed. and in this case the actual cost of work performed is higher than the earned value. So basically we see here at the point in time where the budget cost of work performed were 40,000, the actual cost was already 60,000. So we are 20,000 over budget for this. And this is very easy to read from this chart, and you can also see when in time those changes happen. So scroll down on the page, there are graphs where we see how the variance have changed. When did the budget started to run over, and when were we starting to get behind, and when were we catching up? And we also have those indicators, the schedule performance index and cost performance index, and they should be at 1, then we're good. Now they're below 1, which means we're behind schedule and over budget. So now this is the built-in report, and this is actually fairly easy to customize. So anyone familiar with graphs in Excel can just click this one, and you see you have a number of other fields that you can put into those if you like to. So we're not going to get into detail on that. Just wanted to show you this built-in earned value report in Microsoft Project. So let's go back to the Gantt chart. See the plan again. So this was a quick overview on the earned value functions in Microsoft Project, or the most important ones. To wrap this up, we go back to the slideshow, and summary is that if we have a properly managed plan in Microsoft Project, we also have built-in earned value data. So this means that you can try it, you can learn from it, you can refine your planning and tracking skills, and you can learn how to improve the performance of your own work or your project. And hopefully that's useful. Even though you may not have a requirement to use earned value, you can look at it yourself and see what you can learn from it. So that's it for today. I'd like to thank everybody for listening, and feel free to send questions and comments to me. You have my contact details here, and check back in with visual planning for more webinars. Thank you.